guys, so starting off this makeup look, I'm going to be going in with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Primer. This is my new favorite. I love it for my dry skin. It is so good. It dries down to like kind of like a sticky tacky finish, and then the foundation just really grips to that primer, which I love. So for foundation, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and this is in the shade Sand, and then I'm just blending this in with my damp Wet n Wild sponge. Now I'm going in with the Becca Cosmetics Under Eye Brightener. I love this stuff. I always forget about it, but it makes such a big difference that I need to make sure that I use it every time I do my makeup. Like, it is that good. For concealer, I'm going in with the matching Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and this is in the shade Vanilla. And now I'm just blending that all in with my Morphe E45, and then I like to go over everything with my damp sponge. Now I'm going in with the Benefit Hoola Quickie Contour Stick, and I'm going to be contouring my nose, my cheeks, and my jaw. To blend out my nose and my lips, I'm using the Artis Oval 3 brush. And then to blend out the rest of my contour, I'm using this e.l.f. brush. I think it's like an angled bronzer brush or an angled something. I don't know what it is, but I love it to blend out my cream bronzer or contour. Now I'm moving on to eyebrows. I'm going in with the Anastasia Dip Brow in the shade Blonde. You guys, I need to make it a goal to use this all up. I'm literally going to use it every time I sit down to do my brows from now on until it is gone. I am a little embarrassed to admit this, but I have had this since this first launched. I don't know how many years ago that was, but I'm going to assume at least 3 or 4. So, yeah. Now I'm going in with the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. This is in the shade Taupe, and I just like this just to fill in a little bit more of the sparse areas that the pomade didn't get, and then I really like the pencils to define my tails. So now I'm going in with this Maybelline Brow Precise Crayon. This is in the shade Medium, and I'm just using this to sculpt out my brows and kind of clean up underneath. Now I'm going in with the Ulta Beauty Brow Tint in the shade Blonde. This is very similar to the Benefit Gimme Brow, just way cheaper. But mine is starting to dry out, so I'm trying to use it up as much as I can before I have to put it in my empties. But this just really helps my brows look thicker and fuller, so I really like it. To set my face, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way powder. I guess this is a Born This Way tutorial, but I'm trying to use up stuff that I don't really use all the time. And this is weird, like, if you guys have this powder, does it feel kind of like creamy? I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like this powder just feels weird. Like, it does a good job like setting my face, but when I touch it, it's weird. I don't know. The texture or whatever is just, I don't know. Anyways. And now I'm just setting my lids with the same Too Faced Born This Way powder. I forgot to set my lids last time I saw you guys and it was a disaster, so I made sure to do that this time. For bronzer, I'm using the Laura Mercier Ritual Baked Blush Bronzer. I love this. I forgot how much I loved it. It's just so pretty. It's the perfect amount of like warmness without being like orange. For blush, I'm using the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette, and I'm going to be using these two shades right here. They're kind of like a lilac and pink shade, so I'm mixing them together and applying them just because I think like purpley, like blue-based pinks look the best with green eyeshadow, so I always use like some kind of blush that's this color whenever I'm doing like a green eye look. For highlighter, I'm using the Makeup Revolution, and this is in a collaboration with Soph X. I'm going to be taking the kind of lilac shade and the pinky highlighter shade and mixing them together and applying that. But I don't want a lilac highlighter on my nose, so I went in with this shade right here to highlight my nose. And now I'm just applying some of that Born This Way powder just to clean up my bronzer. Moving on to eyes, I'm going in with this Morphe palette, and this is the Dare to Create 39A. I think it was their holiday palette a couple years ago. You guys, this is the first time I've ever used this palette. Anyways, but it's really nice, I guess. You'll see when I get into this tutorial. But I'm first going in with the shade called Bear, just for my transition shade. Now I'm going in with this kind of orangey peachy shade, and it is called Define Me. I just wanted a little bit more warmth in my crease. Now I'm going in with the shade called Pickle, and this is where it gets a little tricky. So I have had this palette for a couple of years, and to me, this green was really patchy. And I know it's not my eyelid because I did set it, because sometimes when I don't set my lids, that's when the eyeshadows go on kind of clumpy, I guess. Like they just don't blend out and it just looks chunky on the lid. So I think it might actually be the palette that's kind of like, So here in a minute you'll see I start to cover it up with the shimmer because I was like, this is just not blending. But it is a really pretty eyeshadow. I just need to find a better base for it, unless it's just the eyeshadow. I don't know, but to deepen up the outer portion of my eye, I'm going in with the shade called Pine. This one wasn't as patchy as Pickle, but I do really like the shade of this green. I think it'd be a really pretty, just like all over the lid, all over the crease shade if you just wanted to do like a one color eye look. I think this color is stunning. I'm going in with this shimmer shade. This is called Inspire, and I'm applying it with my finger first just to get like a base going on. And I am kind of blending that up into the crease because, as you guys know, I don't like putting shimmer just on my lids. Like, I always like to bring a little bit of it up into my crease just because I think it looks more flattering because there's not that like line of matte and then shimmer, if that makes sense. Now I'm going in with this shade right here called So Glam. Beautiful. I love this shade. I'm using my MAC 242 and I'm applying that in the center of my eyelid and going all the way up, kind of like a halo eye. But again, this shade is so pretty, like by itself. I think it would be beautiful. And then I just applied a little bit more of the So Glam shade with my finger just because it shows up better with my finger. So now I'm just touching up the crease. I just went in with the brush that I was using for the two greens, no additional product, and I'm just kind of winging out the green just to blend it in with the two transition shades. Now I'm going to get started on my lower lash line, and as you guys know, all I do is pile up every single shade that's on my lid, and I start from like the lightest to the darkest shade. So that's all I'm doing here. So I went in with Bare first, Define Me, then Pickle, and then Pine. I didn't put any of the shimmer shades on my lower lash line. I just kept my lower lash line matte. To highlight my brow bone and my inner corner, I went back in with this highlighter palette and I just took the gold shade, which is stunning, let me tell you. Like, I think it's comparable to the Estee Lauder Heatwave, kind of. I love it. Now I'm adding a little bit of this L'Oreal Silkissime. I could never say that. But this is in the shade Green Ivy, and I'm just putting this in my waterline and then dragging it a little bit into my lashes. And then I'm also going to tightline with it. Now I'm just brushing off that excess powder, and then I'm going to be applying some of the Born This Way powder underneath my lower lash line as well, because I'm going to go in with some Essence Lash Princess mascara and I don't want it to transfer. Now I'm just curling my lashes just a little bit, and then I'm going to use the Grande Cosmetics mascara that has the castor oil in it. Moving on to lips, I'm going to be lining my lips with MAC Stone lip liner. And then just to clean it up a little bit, I went in with a little bit of foundation and this concealer brush. I know a lot of people tell you to use concealer to clean up your lips, but it actually looks better if you use the foundation because concealer could just draw more attention to it because it's brightening, and then the foundation just matches your face. So now for lips, I'm going in with this Smashbox liquid lipstick, and this is in the shade, spoiler alert, beautiful. I love this gray undertoned purple shade. It is just so pretty. I love it. I'm going to be applying lashes off camera, but these are the Tatti lashes in TL4. They're seriously top 5 favorites of mine. So then to set my face, I'm using the CoverGirl Look Lock Up All Day Setting Mist. This smells like cucumber. It leaves like a matte finish, and yeah, it's just one of my favorite setting sprays. So now this look is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.